Well, now I am going to show you how to configure a DHCP step by step. In order to configure the DHCP, you need to have a server operating system. That can be anything, either it can be server 2016, 19, and the latest 2022. As soon as you log into the server, you need to go to the server manager and click on add roles and features. Click on next. Select the role based or feature based installation. You can make sure the computer name and the IP address, operating system, everything. Now here you see a role called DHCP server here. Click on the DHCP server role, add the feature, click on next, next, next. So before I click on install, you see here in the tools, you don't see any option called DHCP. See, in the D only three things are starting: defragmentation, disk cleanup, and DNS, and you don't see the DHCP there. Okay, now what I will do, I will click on install, and once the installation is done, you can see the DHCP console in the tools. So let us wait for this to complete. Now you see the DHCP role got installed completely. You see here, complete the DHCP configuration. Click on that. It will ask you to read this one. Click on next, and you can say commit. Once you click on commit, close this one. Now you go to tools, and you see there is an option called DHCP. Click on DHCP. It will take you to the DHCP console. So this is the console, okay, where we can create the scopes. And while doing the IP address classes, I've already told you there are two types of IP address versions. One is IP version 4, another one is IP version 6. So IP version 4 is the widely usable IP address as of now, and IP version 6 we are not full-fledgedly started using, so we should only concentrate on the IP version 4. If you click on IP version 4, you don't see any options only for scopes. You don't see any options. See, server option is nothing is there, policies nothing is there, filters also nothing is there. I was talking about the allow and deny filter. See, nothing is there. No filter, no deny filter is also there. Right? So imagine if you stop the service. If you go to the Windows run and type services.msc. Services.msc if you see, and if you type DHCP, you see there are two services. One is DHCP client, another one is DHCP server. If I right click and stop the DHCP server, see, it is now not running. The status, if you look at, you can double click on the DHCP server and see it is the service status is stopped. Now if I go to the DHCP and refresh, let me close it and open freshly. Go to tools, and if you click on DHCP, see, you don't see anything here. So you have to make sure always the DHCP server is up and running. If somebody tells you I'm not able to get the IP address, multiple people will tell you I'm unable to get the IP address, I'm unable to connect to the network. First and foremost thing, you have to make sure whether the DHCP service is running or not in the DHCP server. If the DHCP server is stopped, you can just come here, click on right click and click on start, or you can even here just click on this DHCP and there action refresh. I don't see the option. Okay, let me go here, and you can just right click on the DHCP server and start the DHCP services. Now if you go here, try to right click and refresh. I don't know why the refresh option, so here it is. This is the one, but I don't know why the refresh option is not coming. That's okay. Tools, click on DHCP. Now you see the console opens. See, Yeah. And if you are seeing the green color tick marks, that means it is healthy. Sometimes what happens, you will see like, unauthorized. If I make unauthorized, if I refresh, see, it shows red color like this, down arrow red color. What scenarios it will be coming like this? When you have 2 3 servers at 2 3 DHCP servers, or more than one DHCP server is there in the network, and if the DHCP is not authorized, means if it is not authorized, it will not give any IP addresses at all. Okay, so you have to right click and make it authorized and refresh it. Now it is green and healthy. Okay, now let me show you how to create the scopes. Right click on the IP version 4. If you want to create the IP version 4 scope, you get multiple options: display statistic, new scope, multicast scope, configure failover, all those things. I want to create a new scope. Click on new scope, click on next. It will ask you the name. You can give, say for example, it is Bangalore hyphen conference hall, conference hall 01. Okay, click on next. It is asking the start IP and the end IP. The same thing I told you. You are going to enter, like I want to give 172.16.0.1 to 172.16.0.255. So total 255 IP address are there. And see, as soon as I mention class B address, class B is 12 for host and 12 for network. So see, 16 bits. It has 16 bits, right? 16 bits for host and 16 bits for network. It has automatically 16 came. Now click on next, and it is asking whether you have given the complete range 1 to 255. You already given. Would you like to exclude some IP address? It is asking. If you want to exclude, you do it. Otherwise, I will show you how to do it later. Click on next, and see, by default 8 days leaves duration. Would you like to keep it for 8 days, or if you want to make any changes, you can do that. I'll show later. Okay. Would you like to configure the network option? Yes, I want to configure. Now you have to enter the gateway. Gateway should be always the first IP address, 172.16.0.1 is your gateway. The first IP address is gateway. Click on next. See, automatically Google came, and this is my DHCP DNS server IP address, or the domain controller IP address automatically detected. Click on next. Click on next and say finish. Now you see a new scope got created. If any user who is there in the Bangalore conference room 01, they will get this Wi-Fi symbol, and they right click, and when they say connect, the IP address will be start assigning for them here. And if we right click on the scope and see the display statistics, you see here total addresses are available is 255. How many number of in use is 0. Nothing is given yet. Available how many? 255. 100%. The scope is free. Now you notice that all the 255 IP address you have given for DHCP server to distribute, but you already given 0.1 to the router. What if the DHCP server assigns 0.1 to some other computer? Then the IP address will be conflicted here. Two devices will have the same IP address. One is router, another one is computer. Then the entire network will not work, because there is an IP address conflicted with the router IP address. So the router is very, very important. Not only you, whoever is there in the entire network, they use the router. So what we will do, I wanted to exclude 0.1 to 0.10, that the first 10 IP address. So go to the address pool here. You can see here start IP is 172.16.0.1, end IP is 172.16.0.255, address range for distribution. And if you see up and down arrow symbols are there, that means the entire range is set for the distribution. Now I'll right click and create a new exclusion range. What is the exclusion range? It is 172.16.0.1 to 172.16.0.10. the first 10 IP address I am going to exclude. And now you see, you can see one book symbol and cross symbol. Means the IP address excluded from the distribution. Now DHCP what it will do, he will not assign the IP address, or he will not offer the IP address between 1 to 10, and he will start giving the IP address from 11 to 255, because the 1 to 10 you already excluded. Now if you go to the scope and right click and see the statistics, you will see 10 address less. Earlier it was giving 255. Since I have excluded 10 IP address, it is minusing the 10 out of 255, and it is telling total available address are 245. Okay. Now let me go and do one reservation. So reservation you means you already know, assigning the same address for a computer permanently. To do that you need to have the MAC address. Go to the command prompt and run a command called ipconfig /all. It will give you the IP address and the MAC address of the computer. See, MAC address is nothing but it's your physical address, correct? Na? This is DHCP NMC, this is your physical address. So in order to do the reservation, it is mandatorily you need to know the MAC address of the computer. Imagine I want to send the same IP address for this computer. So let me copy this MAC address. Go reservation here, right click and create a new reservation. Add the reservation name my boss PC. My boss PC. What is the IP address? I should make sure 10.50 will be always going to the what MAC address? The MAC address which I copied. In the description you can mention this is your boss PC, so that when you read the inventory you will understand. Now you see there is a new reservation got created. What it will send? It will send 0.50 this router IP address, this DNS address IP address, and this is the DNS name. All this information will be sent to that particular your boss PC. Now if I go to the scope, right click and do the display statistics, you see out of 245 in use is 1, remaining is 244. So this is very, very important. So sometimes what happens, guys, imagine there is a conference happened at your office. You have only 50 free IP addresses, but there are 200 and 250 users came on that day. First 50 users got the IP address and they are telling they are working perfectly fine, and the remaining 150 users, they are telling I am not able to get the IP address, I am not able to get the IP address. So first 50 users already got, means the DHCP is working fine. It has given the IP address for the first 50 users. For the remaining 150 users or 100 users, it is not able to give. So what you have to do, you have to go to the DHCP server, go to the scope and see the display statistics. If it is 100% use, in available is 245, in use is 245 is there, and available is 0 here. What you have to do, you have to reduce the lease duration, because this 150 to 200 users IP address whoever is not getting, because those IP address are already leased for someone else who is currently doing work from home. Yesterday they were there, they have got the IP address, and the IP address is given for 8 days. Until they come back next 8 days, it will not take the IP address. So if that is the case, what you can do, you can quickly go to the scope, go to properties and reduce the lease duration. Instead of 8 days, you keep it for like 10 minutes here. So anything more than 10 minutes, now the IP address will be taken back. You will slowly, this statistics is then a display statistics. Available IP address will be keep on increasing, like 10, 20, 30, 40, 100, 150. Whatever IP address leased 10 minutes back. And if the computer is not online, everything will take back. Then the users will start getting the IP address. Okay, this is how you manage the DHCP scope alteration and all. So now we learned how to create a scope, how to create the exclusion, how to create the reservation, and how to change the DHCP lease option. Then next is how to take the backup of the DHCP server. Just right click on this DHCP DC01. There is an option called backup. Click on backup. You can go to the desktop if you want. Go to desktop, create a folder, DHCP backup. Within that, I am going to store. See here, I have taken the backup here. See, some file got created. Now what I will do, I will go here, the DHCP, I will delete this scope. See, there is no scope now. But I am by mistakenly deleted something. Okay, I wanted to ensure everything came back now. What you can do, you can go to right click, the IP version 4, right click, sorry, the DC01 right click, and there is an option called restore. Click on restore, select the desktop folder here, DHCP, select the new, and see it is restoring. Please wait while the DHCP service runs on dc01.google.com. Now you see, refresh, not restored correctly. Let me check why it is not restored correctly. Let me close this. Go to tools, DHCP. So let me go back here. I'll make it unauthorized for now. You can see it has become red now. Right click and restore. On the desktop I have this file. Click on OK. In order for change to take effect, the services must be stopped and restarted. Would you like to guess? I want to stop the services. So it will stop the service, restore the database, backup, and then again start the service. Now you see, I didn't. The database was not restored correctly. No changes were made. For more information, please. Okay. It is telling it is unable to restore the services. Okay, let me check, and it is asking me to check the events. So I'll go to event viewer.msc, Windows logs, system logs. Here it will give what exactly is happening there. See, it is some error is there. The DHCP or BANL service on the local machine belongs to the Windows administrative domain controller as determined that it is not authorized to start. See, what I did, I am trying to restore with some user, and that user has not got the access. That is what it is telling. See, the machine cannot reach its directory services enterprise, and it has encountered another DHCP service on the network belonging to a directory services enterprise and which the local machine is not authorized. Okay, so some authorization error it is giving. So like this you will understand what exactly the issue by reviewing the event viewer. But this is how you will restore the DHCP. And if in your home, create a server, don't install Active Directory, just install the DHCP, take the backup and try to restore. It works. Okay, that's all about the DHCP, guys. So let me refresh it. I'll make it authorized. Yeah, you can create n number of scopes. Right click and start creating the scopes and do the practice. Okay, with this I think we are done with the DHCP lab as well. I will take the questions. So for now let me stop the recording. Thank you, guys.